Hello, everybody. It's Lori Ballen in Las Vegas with Lori Ballen team and 365 days of KW Command. I was just working with a coaching client and we were discussing working your sphere of influence and specifically with KW Command. And I gave her an idea that I want to share with you guys. And that is before we actually get to the point where we are adding in Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Twitter ads, Google ads, whatever, the first thing we want to do is make sure that everybody in our database is filled in as completely as possible and on a smart plan, especially sphere of influence, your book of business, friends, family, past clients. So I encourage her to first start there. And then my next suggestion, which I want to show you now, is to actually take this opportunity and this downtime that we're in actually right now and call your database and get to know them. And by get to know them, what I'm talking about is the basics, of course. You want to make sure you have their name, their email, their phone number, their address, their home anniversary if they bought it from you, their birthday. And then I'm going to go back to what I did when I began my real estate business in 2007. And that was I created a getting to know you form and I collected data from them and put it all in the database. And it was things like favorite author, favorite flower, favorite treat, kids' birthdays, dog name, whatever it was that I felt I needed to know to possibly reward them if they sent me a referral, a thank you, or a birthday or holidays, depending on that particular client. So what I want to encourage you to do is take this time and we're going to actually create some custom fields here to do what we're to fill this out. Now, if you are using something advanced like Infusionsoft, I know some people are, or any kind of landing page creator where you can build a form, this is all going to be you can use that, and you can actually use PySync or Zapier to get some of that content from the form in here. But if you don't have any of that, what I'm going to encourage you to do here is to create these fields and then call your database and start getting them filled out. Now, if you notice here, when I logged on to Tinkerbell, the client, and I click down here in custom, I have some custom fields here that you would not have because I actually added them. Well, underneath that, I've got the ability to add more custom fields. So I'm going to click Add Custom Field. Now, right here is where I've got the ability to create drop in a custom field, but I have to create them first. So when you see the add, you're able to pop in one that you already created. This isn't the spot to add a new custom field. Okay, so let's go look at that. So we're going to go up here and we're going to go to settings. And we're going to go into command settings and contacts, then custom fields. Right up here on the right, we're going to click create new custom field. Now, custom field name. Oh, look, they even have it. Favorite sports team. That is so funny. So clearly I'm not the only one that is thinking like this. So you would put something like that. Favorite sports team. Now, custom field type. This can be a text field. Okay, so a text field is going to let them you're going to be able to type one item into that field. An area is going to be more like a box, so it's going to be a larger space. That's better for like a paragraph or a review or something like that. A drop down is going to be a preset section of options. Okay, so favorite sports team. If you wanted to, you could go to add drop down option and you could put Buffalo Bills, whatever. I just picking something random. And you could you could then check it off of the drop down. Be careful with that though, because if you're going to use something like PySync to bring in the data, or Zapier, they're not going to, those drop downs don't do really well with those syncs. So just be careful about that. Now, the next thing you have is a date field. And the date field would be good for if you want to put like child 1 birthday, because you want to remember the kids maybe on their birthdays. I had somebody at one of my classes recently say that she sends cards to their dog, to their pet birthday. I think she specifically said dog, but I hadn't thought about that. And of course, you know, especially the new millennial generation are super, super into dog parks, and they're choosing their homes based on the dog parks. And to remember their dog on their birthday would probably be pretty special. So that's what she does. You also have the ability to create a checkbox. So maybe your field name is getting to know you form. And you're going to check that off when you actually get all the info, right? Or maybe you're going to say checkbox, I don't know, it's basically, are they this or are they that? You know, and you would check it off. Maybe thinking of buying or selling real estate the next 5 years. Yes, check it off. Okay, that's what a checkbox does. And then you have a number field. You have a URL, so if you want to put in a link to something, you have a percentage, and then you have a currency. So these are all your fields. Most of the time, you're going to use that blank text field, especially on something like this, okay? And if you click to make it a default custom field, it will then show up on every contact form. So you could do that. Otherwise, you can just drop it in like I did a minute ago when I showed you how to add a custom field. You can drop it into only the people that you talk to. That's okay too. All right. So the things that I would include here are things like, so I did favorite sports team, favorite treat. Now, if you wanted to, you could create a little drop down and put something sweet, something sour, something salty. And you can let them pick. Or you can leave it blank and they'll write something like chocolate or cookies or cake or nuts or whatever. You could put in favorite type of alcohol if you think you want to buy somebody a bottle of alcohol on their anniversary or something. You can do, I like favorite author because I think sending a book is a really cool thing. So I've done that. Favorite sports team for sure. Favorite author. Favorite treat, favorite alcohol, and on mine I put if I could get a gift card to any store. I think I put a denomination on mine because it changes the answer. I think I put if you were to receive a $50 gift card or something like that to any store, what would it be, right? Or you could just put gift store. The only problem with that is that they put things like Lamborghini, you know, they answer like in a ridiculous way and then you can't use it. So you could put favorite, you know, store you frequent most often, and they'll put Target or Walmart or Macy's or Nordstrom or whatever. And then you would know how to reward them if they sent you something. I have somebody that sends us a lot of referrals to my team here, to my real estate team in Las Vegas. And we went in and we were making notes on all of his, in his database. And after a particular referral, we sent him just a random thank you because he had sent us so many. It wasn't related to anyone specific, but it was a bro basket and it had like beer steins and it was like a man basket, but it had stuff that we knew he would appreciate, you know, based on all that. So this is just a really good time. Now let me show you how to create a smart plan for this at the same time. Okay. So that's how you add the fields. Now, if you go over to the left and you click on Smart Plans, so you know we have a birthday smart plan, we have a home anniversary. I think we have a home anniversary smart plan, or I created one. I can't remember which. I'd have to look. Oh, here's the library. So just click on library, and we do not. Oh yeah, there it is, home anniversary. Okay. These can all be copied over and edited, or you can start from scratch. I've got lots of videos that teach you how to do that. So we're going to do one start from scratch. So just go over to My Smart Plans, create, plan name, getting to know you, and apply. And then once our fields open, it would look something like this. Now you can send this by text, you can send this by email, you can send it by both. It's up to you. Now you can also schedule a phone call to call them to get the info. So we'll start with that. Now in order to send text or email, you must activate with KW Command Email. And I think you can look at the pricing plans. You get up to a certain amount for free, and then it costs more after that. You can also look at SMS text would be Twilio. So you have to activate those. I've got videos on how to do all of that, but they do need to be activated in order to create the smart plan. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to say make a call. Actually, let's do an email first. So what I did is I just clicked this little email button and it dropped in here. Send email. Now, subject would be I have a few questions. Something like that. Okay. Now here you would say hi, and then this little merge field, click on that down arrow and drop in first name, comma, Lori Ballen here. I'm working on my database and would love to have you answer a few questions for me. When you have time, please click this link and help me get to know you and your family better so I can remember you best when it's time. Hope you are well, Lori Ballen. Okay. I like white space my emails. Okay. Now, this link, unfortunately, at this time, I don't know of a great way to do this right inside of Command. We don't have like a form creator. So the best thing to do in this case is going to be to collect it with a third-party form creator. So you could do something like, if you have Infusionsoft, you can do it in Infusionsoft. But a lot of people are using Google Forms. So you can go over to Google Forms and click on Google Forms, start a new form. Now here you go. You can actually use a form that's already created. So like this one's a good one. Contact information. Okay. So then all you have to do is change these fields to be whatever you want. So you can change it. So, you know, if we say, okay, now we need to add a birthday one. So let's add a question. What is your birthday? And then you can, it by default now it just pulled up date. So that's perfect. Month, day, and year. Now, if we don't, does it let us not require the year? If you want, you can just put short answer, and that way they would, you know, not have to put the year if you don't want that year in there, and they'll fill that out there. You can also choose if you want these fields to be required or optional. You can duplicate a field, okay? Lots of options here. So Google Forms would be the easiest free way for you to collect information. And then once they submit the form to you, you would go into KW Command and put in those fields. Now, if you want to get fancy, let me see if PySync and Google Forms. I haven't actually played with this, but I have a feeling it would work. Yes, it looks like it would. Okay, so if you're, oh, it's on the roadmap. Syncing contacts and Google Lead Form extension is on the roadmap, so it may not work yet. Okay. PySync works well for bringing in the data from some sources, but it's not completely for all of them. Okay. So you might be able to do this with a Zap. So let me see, does Zapier do Google Forms? I have Infusionsoft, so I'm able to use that. So I haven't actually done this before, but Google Forms integrations connect with Zapier. Google Forms integrations. It does. Okay. So what I would do, and if you need help with setting this up, call Jeff and Paul at Ballen Brands, my brothers. You can hire them to do your integrations for you with Command. So what I'm thinking is you could actually set up a Zap to import their answers from Google Forms into the custom fields. But I have not played with this all the way yet to see how those two integrations would actually work. So if it did, then you could just set this up. But regardless of which you use, today I wanted to make sure you really understood the concept, and that is to start collecting the data and putting it in Command so that you can start rewarding them. I told my coaching client today that I think that the most important thing we could be doing is communicating with our database before adding cold leads, Facebook ads, SEO. And I'm a technology girl, but there's nobody going to return a higher ROI than your sphere of influence. So first and foremost with Command, I would get all of this in check. Know your clients, know how to communicate them, get your email, get your smart plan set up, send them cards, get on a card program. I use send out cards, whatever, you want to get this going. And then I told her, I suggested that she start having like a monthly happy hour or a quarterly happy hour, some sort of get together to work with your database. And Command in Designs actually has invitations to do that. And you could create a smart plan for that too. But anyway, here, once you create your Google form, you'll have a link. It'll give you a link. So I would save this and grab the link that it gives me. And then essentially, I'm just going to copy this fake link for now. We would go over here and it's please click this link. And you would add it here. There you go. Now, let's just say you also want to text them. Okay, so I'm going to click send SMS. Now, some of you will only text and some of you will only email, but I wanted to show you how to put it in here just in case. Now, the way this is right now, we have send email and we have send text. These would go out at the same time. So they would get an email and they would get a text. If you want to put a delay in here, you just click this delay and put that in between. And you can say, okay, I want them to get the email first or the text first. And then in 7 days, I want them to get the email or the text. But you have to be careful with this because if you send out the email first and they fill out your form, and you don't remove them from the campaign, then 7 days later, they would get a text from you and it would be confusing because they already filled out your form. So you would have to really be on top of that. One thing you could do is you could do a 1 day delay and then click send a task, create task, and then you would put, did they fill out form? You could put their first name in here, did merge field, first name, fill out getting to know you form, and then you can say, if so, remove from campaign. So maybe you want to do this on day 5. So you've given them 5 full days to fill out the form. 5, there we go. Now you create yourself a task to check on this. Okay. And then you could put the next touch, which would be your email or your text. And your text would be just basically say the same thing like, hey, first name, I'd love a minute to get to know you. I'd love a minute to enhance your contact record in my database. When you have a few, please click here. Thanks, Lori. Now, on a text message, you cannot highlight and create a link the same way. So rather than pasting a long, ugly link, you can go over to bit.ly, which is a URL shortener, and you can paste your long Google Sheets. I don't know, I haven't played with it, but Google Forms might give you a shortened link. I'm not sure. But if they don't, then here we go. Let's look what it says. Yeah, see how long that is? Oh, look, shorten URL. This one's, okay, that's still not very short. Their short URL is still very long. So what you might want to do is take that long URL, go over to bit.ly and go to create, paste, and then you'll get this tiny little link. I personally like the tiny little link if I'm going to be pasting in a text message. There you go. So this smart plan now will send that out. Now what you could do is every single person now that adds to your database, gets added to your database, that it has a certain tag, could be added to this smart plan. You can add, you still have to do it manually, but you could create something on your team or with you that says, okay, every time I add somebody new that is somebody I spoke with, you know, you're tagging them somehow, like two-way contact, or maybe you're just going to do sphere of influence, friends, family, whatever. You can automatically add them to this now every time you do business with them. Another option, what we did is we waited till we got to the point of a contract. And that was, and I say was just because this is what we did when I had a large team. Now I've got a little bit of a different model where my agents deal with their sphere of influence rather than me. So it's a little bit different. But back then when I was doing it all, I had, as soon as they signed anything with us, they made an offer on a property, or they signed an exclusive buyer agreement or an exclusive listing agreement or anything like that, I would send this form to them. And I would stay on it through the whole transaction until I got the form from them. So this is a great campaign to actually fire and do that. So that's my idea for today. Thanks for joining me. Lori Ballen in Las Vegas, 365 days of KW Command.